Hi. So, yeah. Hey. My first YouTube vid. You can call me Marion. So, I'm not sure if I want to do this or not. So, I'm going to do a few readings. I plan eventually to do some commentary stuff. So, but yeah. Right now, I'm just reading some stuff I haven't read before. Hopefully, you like my voice. Have a great night, gorgeous. So, the book is On a Winter's Night, a Traveler. A friend lent it to me a while ago. The premise sounded like something that was pretty cool that I would be into, but I've never read this before, so, think of it as a react video. But way calmer and more sophisticated. Alright, let's get started. If on a winter's night, a traveler. You are about to begin reading Italo Calvino's new novel, If on a Winter's Night, a Traveler. Relax. Concentrate. Dispel every other thought. Let the world around you fade. Best to close the door. The TV is always on in the next room. Tell the others, right away, no, I don't want to watch TV. Raise your voice. They won't hear you otherwise. I'm reading. I don't want to be disturbed. Maybe they haven't heard you of all the racket. Speak louder. Yell. I'm beginning to read Italo Calvino's new novel. Or if you prefer, don't say anything. Just hope that they'll leave you alone. Find the most comfortable position. Seated, stretched out, curled up, or lying flat. Flat on your back, on your side, on your stomach. In an easy chair, on the sofa, in the rocker, the deck chair, on the hassock, in the hammock, if you have a hammock, on top of your bed, of course, or in the bed. You can even stand on your hands, head down in the yoga position, with a book upside down, naturally. Of course, the ideal position for reading is something you can never find. In the old days, they used to read standing up at a lectern. People are accustomed to standing on their feet without moving. The rest did like that when they were tired of horseback riding. No one had ever thought of reading on horseback, yet now the idea of sitting in the saddle, the book propped up on the horse's mane, and tied to the horse's ear with a special harness seems attractive to you. With your feet in the stirrups, you should feel quite comfortable for reading. Having your feet up is the first condition for enjoying a read. Well, what are you waiting for? Stretch your legs. Go ahead. Put your feet on a cushion. On two cushions. On the arms of a sofa. On the wings of the chair. On the coffee table. On the desk. On the piano. On the globe. Take your shoes off first. If you want to, put your feet up. If not, put them back. Now, don't stand there with your shoes in one hand and the book in the other. Adjust the light so you won't strain your eyes. Do it now, because once you're absorbed in reading, there will be no budging you. Make sure the page isn't in shadow. A clotting of black letters on a gray background, uniform as a pack of mice, but be careful that the light cast on it isn't too strong, doesn't glare on the cruel white of the paper, gnawing at the shadows of the letters in a southern noonday. Try to foresee now everything that might make you interrupt your reading. Cigarettes within reach, if you smoke, and the ashtray. Anything else? Do you have to be? Yeah, alright, you know best. It's not that you expect anything in particular from this particular book. You're the sort of person who, on principle, no longer expects anything of anything. There are plenty younger than you, or less young, who live in the expectation of extraordinary experiences. From books, from people, from journeys, from events, from whatever tomorrow has in store. But not you. You know that the best you can expect is to avoid the worst. This is the conclusion you have reached in your personal life and also in general matters, even international affairs. What about books? Well, precisely because you have denied it in every other field, you believe you may still grant yourself legitimately this youthful pleasure of expectation in a carefully circumcised area like the fields of books, where you can be lucky or unlucky, but the risk of disappointment isn't serious. So then, you noticed in the newspaper that If on a Winter's Night a Traveler had appeared, the new book by Italo Calvino, had been published for several years. You went to the bookshop and bought the volume. Good for you. In the shop window, you'd promptly identified the cover with the title you're looking for. Following the visual trail, you have forced your way through the shop past the thick barricade of books you haven't read, which are frowning at you on the tables and shelves, trying to cow you. But you know you must never allow yourself to be awed. Among them there extend acres upon acres about the books you needn't read, the books made for purposes other than reading, books read even before you open them, since they belong to the category of books read before being written. And thus, you pass the outer girdle of ramparts. But then you are attacked by the infantry of the books that if you had more than one life you would certainly also read, but unfortunately your days are numbered. With a rapid maneuver, you bypass them and move into the phalanxes of the books that you mean to read, but there are others you must read first. The books too expensive now, and you'll wait until they are remaindered. The books ditto when they come out in paperback. Books you can borrow from somebody. Books that everybody's read so as if you've read them too. Eluding these assaults, you come up beneath the towers of the fortress where the other troops are holding out. The books you've been planning to read for ages, the books you've been hunting for years without success, the books dealing with something you're working on at the moment, the books you want to own so they'll be handy just in case, the books you'll put aside maybe to read this summer, the books you need to go to the other books on your shelves, the books that fill you with sudden inexplicable curiosity not easily justified. Now you have been able to reduce the countless combatants to an array that is, to be sure, very large, but still calculable in a finite number. But this relative relief is then undermined by the ambush of the books read long ago, which it is now time to reread, and the books you've always pretended to have read, and now it's time to sit down and actually read them. With a zigzagging dash, you shake them off and leap straight into the citadel of the new books whose author or subject appeals to you. Even inside the stronghold, you can make some breaches in the ranks of the defenders, dividing them into new books by authors or on subjects not new for you or in general, and new books by authors or on subjects completely unknown, at least to you, and defining the attraction they have for you on the basis of your desires and needs for the new and the not new. For the new you seek and the not new, and for the not new that you seek in the new. All this simply means is that, having rapidly glanced over the titles of the volumes displayed in the bookshop, you have turned towards a stack of If on a Winter's Night a Traveler, fresh off the press. You have grasped a copy, and you have carried it to the cashier so your own right to own it can be established. You cast another bewildered look at the books around you. Or rather, it was the books that looked at you, with the bewildered gaze of dogs, who from their cages in the city pound, see a former companion go off on the leash of his master come to rescue him. And out you went. Okay. That's halfway for the first chapter, but I think I'll stop there and give some comments on it, I think. I'm sorry for the slightly dramatic reading. I'm part of the theater club at my school, but I'm not necessarily all that good. I get very passionate about things, perhaps over-passionate. It's very interesting. The sort of second-person narration. I've always found it quite unsettling, really. I mean, who is this narrator? Why is he watching us? Why is she watching us? Or they, or whatever. I don't know. Should be better than that. Non-binary myself. Anyway. It's very visceral, too. I particularly love the descriptions of all the positions one can get into when trying to be comfortable while reading. It's very accurate to real life. Happens a lot. Restlessness. Also, being among the people incapable of sitting comfortably in a chair. It's very relatable. I mean, yes, you can divide up your books like that, and perhaps it does give one some anxiety. But I've never really felt that in a bookshop. And that's sort of just like you go to a party that's introvert friendly, and I don't know, it's quiet. It's a world of possibilities. Who knows what you're coming home with? Very tactile, too. Brushing your fingers along the spine, flipping through pages. Delicious. I mean, I guess it's an interesting gimmick, since you might have noticed that the book that it keeps me talking about is On a Winter's Night Traveler by Italio Calvino, which is the book we are currently reading, too. Interesting. I can't quite decide whether that's meta or a little pompous yet. I don't know. I certainly think it's worth continuing, but hey, I've barely started. And maybe because, I mean, it's paperback. The cover almost feels like, watercolor paper. And there's a silver foil book on it, and the writing all looks like handwriting and one of those fountain pen things. Wow. Alright. I'm sure you've heard me yammer long enough. Leave your opinion so I can decide whether to make real videos or not. Kisses.